So let's go ahead and meet in our Sukhasana. Good morning, I'm Tiffany. Welcome, thanks for joining me. Let's move that fleshy part out away from the sit bones and draw the crown of our head to the sun. Imagine you are reaching up to the sky, taking your spine as long as you can, and then just relax your shoulders down and away from your ears. And if you're comfortable, close the eyes. And just relax into this breath, settling into this space. Breathe through the nose. Let this be an opportunity to become present. When we close our eyes or softly gaze down the tip of our nose, we start to draw the awareness in. Notice, are you tipping forward when you're sitting tall? And if so, restack those shoulders over those hips. Feel the crown of the head lifting as your ribs pull up and away from your pelvic. And notice the breath. The little rise and fall of the chest as you move the breath through the nose. And what in this moment can you let go of? Is it thoughts? Is it a to-do list? Knowing that those things will still be there when class is over. Just let this time be for you, creating your stress-free, problem-free zone. Let's slowly tip the left ear towards the shoulder. Take a nice long stretch to the side of the neck. Head is heavy, shoulders are soft. Gently turn the chin towards the knees, stretch across the neck. Inhale, bring the head back to center. Exhale, tip the other ear towards the shoulder. Try to relax the shoulder down and away from the ear. Imagine your thoughts just draining from the ear. Slowly turn that chin towards the knees, stretch across the neck. Let your inhale to bring you back to center. Exhale as your chin releases to the chest. Inhale, lift the chin. And on that exhale, change that lead leg so you can bring balance into easy seated. Reestablish sitting tall. Take your legs wherever it's most comfortable. And then just let your fingers drape over your knees. And then start to shift your rib cage side to side. And then move your rib cage around like your belly button is drawing a circle. So circle those ribs around, fast or slow. It is up to you. Find your speed. Go 2 more times around. And when you come back to center, change directions. Listen to how the body's feeling, even in this circle movement. How are your hips? How are your knees, your back? What is it you may need to be a little kinder to? One more time around. And let's come back to sit up nice and tall. Inhale, circle those arms up to the sun. Exhale the hands down through the midline. Take this 2 more times. Inhale to circle to rise. Exhale down and through. 1 more time. Inhale, circle to rise. Exhale down and through. Take this moment to either keep the eyes closed as the chin drops to the chest or lightly gaze to those fingertips. We all come onto the mat for a different reason. So whatever brought you here today, honor that throughout the practice. For this month's theme, it is from a quote by Les Brown. And my quote is, tell yourself no matter how hard it is, or how hard it gets, I'm going to make it. We are in a time of uncertainty and change. And even though we may be experiencing some hard times, we are all going to make it, and we'll all make it together. So take this time on your mat to let this be an opportunity to let that all go, so you can truly be in this moment for you. This month we're working the sound of Om. So let's take a nice deep inhale. Om. The eyes are closed, gently blink them open. And let's go ahead and extend the left leg out on an angle. And what I want you to do here is just turn towards the left leg. Inhale, bring the hands up. Exhale, reach out nice and long. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, reach forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, stretch. 2 more times, just warming up that hamstring. And on this last one, I want you to reach forward and hold, but really turn your right shoulder towards the left ankle. And whether your hands reach your toes, they touch the earth, be careful of diving and buckling at the belly. Pull your heart to your toes. And then slowly rise up and inhale, bring the right arm over the head. And as you lean into that forearm, go ahead and bring that left leg up, hold the ankle, and draw the heel back. Now roll the shoulders in towards your spine and push your hip away from your glute, feeling that quad start to open up. And then release. Take a turn towards that leg and inhale, reach up tall, and then exhale, twist, right arm forward, left arm back. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, twist. Notice we're rotating from the belly button to the shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. One more time. Inhale, center. And exhale, twist. From this twist, start to reach forward. Come to the outside of the leg and see if you can reach the pinky side of that foot. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. Now as we face back to the long edge of our mat, let's take the other leg out. Turn the belly button towards the knees, so now we're aiming towards that leg. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, stretch. Inhale, rise. Exhale, reach. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more like this. On your last one, hold that reach forward. And again, turn your shoulder towards the leg and just reach to the toes, place the hands on the earth, but be careful of buckling at the belly. We want to lengthen and stretch long. Inhale, rise up, and as your arm comes down to the mat, pick up the leg, grab a hold of the ankle, and push the hips forward, stretching through that calf. Shoulders squeeze in, chest opens. And then let's rise up for that Janu Shirshasana. So this head to knee. But what I want you to do is have your foot in and you reach tall. So come out of that pelvic floor and then exhale, bring the left arm forward, right arm back. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, rise. So opposite arm is twisting. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale, twist. Now reach forward, then across as you take the twist a little bit deeper. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. Now go ahead and turn back to the long edge of your mat and open your legs up into this seated straddle, Upavista Konasana. Now your legs can come in closer or you can have your legs wide. It is up to you. But what I want you to do is inhale, lift tall, interlace the fingers. Exhale, press forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, take the hands behind the head. Doing a little core work, I want you to tip to the side and come up. Keep your sit bones on the floor. Tip to the side and come up. 2 counts forward. Down, down, up, up. Reach the arms up. And then let's stretch forward. So that'll be our combination. Reach forward, rise up, hands behind the head. Tip, tip, and then forward, forward, rise, rise. Come into that stretch first. Come forward into the stretch. Rise up. Hands behind the head or fingertips behind the ears. Tip, tip, and then 2 counts forward. Down, down, up. Let's take 2 more like this. Reach up tall and then hinge from the hips. Use that core power to lift up. Take the hands behind the head. Side crunch, forward tip. Down, down, up, up. Last one, reach tall, hinge forward. Rise up, hands behind the head, and then side crunch, forward, forward, lift, lift. As you bend the knees, bring them to the center, and let's work both poses, Navasana prep. And so what I want you to do is lift your shins, push your heels away from the body, and then reach towards those heels. And then stay here, or extend into Ardha Navasana, half boat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you draw it in, make your way into table. And from table, what I want you to do is open your knees up a little bit wider than hip width apart and come into Child's Pose, Balasana. Whether you come halfway back or all the way back is up to you. I want you to take a moment here. We're going to breathe nice and deep. And as you breathe nice and deep, I want you to feel your back body rise to the sky. So inhale nice and deep. Exhale, let it out. Inhale nice and deep. Exhale, let it out. Inhale for a count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Feel free to return to the normal pace of your breath. Reach those arms out nice and long, Utthita Balasana. And then inhale forward to kneeling plank, chest over thumbs. Walk the knees back in line with the body. And exhale, bring your hips down to the mat. Send your elbows forward of your shoulders, planting your hands on the earth. Now I want you to lift just your elbows. So you're pushing into the palm of your hands. Notice my shoulders and elbows are not stacked. So I'm not back here. I have them slightly forward. So as I lift the heart and press into the palm of my hands, lift the elbows, squeeze everything in. Belly button in, elbows in towards each other. So we're not out here, we're pulling in and lower down. Let's do this 3 more times. Press into the palm of the hands, lift the elbows. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press into the top of your thighs. Push the top of your feet into the mat. Exhale, lower. 1 more time. Be careful of coming back down here. Stay tall. Here we go. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Go ahead and walk your hands in. Press up into kneeling plank and float back into Child's Pose. So just a different way to fire up the back and the upper body. And then let's move into that 8-point press because we're going to see it in our sun salutation. So inhale forward to kneeling plank, but turn those toes under. So we have the hands, the knees, and our toes. So far that's 2, 4, 6 spots touching the earth, and we've got to get to 8. So our chest and chin, bend the elbows in, and bring the chest and chin to the mat. Chest, chin, hands, knees, toes. Not a lot of pressure into that chin. Inhale, press up. Exhale, float back. And if you're thinking, well, my body doesn't do that, that's okay. In time, it'll get there. So you can inhale forward into kneeling plank and then exhale to your half crocodile. The rest of us, let's lower all the way down to 8-point press. Chest, chin, hands, knees, toes. Inhale, press up. Exhale, hinge back. Let's add on to this. Inhale forward to kneeling plank. Exhale, lower to 8-point press. Now release your hips and notice where your chest wants to go. As you release your hips, scoop through to cobra, squeezing shoulders and elbows. Come back into child's pose. Let's take this one more time. Inhale forward to kneeling plank. Turn those toes under. Lower chest and chin to the mat. Chest, chin, hands, knees, toes. Scoop through to cobra. Exhale back to child's pose. Take a nice big inhale here. Exhale, let it out. Meet me in down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So as you take yourself into your down dog, open your feet up to the width of the mat. Then take your hands and grip the edges of your mat. And we're going to take this little frog dog. Ready? Bend the knees, straighten, come up onto your tiptoes. Bend the knees, straighten. Bend the knees, straighten. One more time. Bend the knees and straighten. As you let your heels relax, walk the feet back in. Then release the grip of the edges of your mat and come back in to your traditional dog. So just different ways to take poses, doing different movements. Feel free to pedal those heels, stretching deeper into your Achilles and calves. Notice what's happening with your shoulders. I want you to feel your shoulder blades spreading away from one another, but we're pressing strong between the thumb and index finger, firing up those arms. Then let's bend our knees and look to thumbs. Step into forward fold, Uttanasana. Head hangs. We can brace on the shins or the thighs if we need more support, or look to your belly button or thighs. Really let your head drop towards the earth. And inhale, rise up to the sun. And as you exhale, release the left arm down and stretch with the right arm over the ear. If you're rounding forward, I need you to open the left side of the heart to the sky. Inhale, rise up. Take your right arm down and exhale, stretch over to the right with your left. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, push your hips slightly forward and lift your heart to the sky. Inhale, rise up. Right arm forward, left arm back. And as you twist, make sure your hips aren't moving. So it's not the hips moving. It is from belly button to shoulder that's rotating. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, left arm forward, right arm back. Take that twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a pause. Make sure you are at the top third of your mat so you have the rest of the mat to move on. As we move through this sun salutation variation, remember to take the variation that works for you. I'm going to start in kneeling. Feel free to stick with kneeling through the entire flow. So hands are at the heart, gaze to the tips of the fingers. Inhale, follow those fingers to the sky. Exhale, fold to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring fingers to shins, flatten the back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend knees for kneeling lunge and send that right knee back and look forward. Lengthen the body. Exhale to kneeling plank. Release that left knee back, chest over thumbs. Toes can be turned under or flat. It is up to you. Exhale to child's pose, reaching forward. This is where we set up for 8-point press. Inhale forward to kneeling plank. Exhale, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale, cobra, hips down, elbows bent. Exhale, back to child's pose. Inhale, the right foot forward. Help that foot. If it lands back here, pick it up, bring it forward, and then look forward into that lunge. Exhale into fold. Inhale, rise to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, follow the hands to the sun. Exhale, fold to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Inhale, bend knees for kneeling lunge. Now it is the left knee that goes back and look forward. Exhale, kneeling plank, right knee back, chest over thumbs. Float into child's pose, hips towards heels. Inhale, kneeling plank, setting up for 8-point press. Exhale to the mat, 8-point press. Inhale, scoop through to cobra, hips down, elbows bent. Exhale, back to child's pose. Inhale the left foot forward to that kneeling lunge. Look forward. Try to get the knee over the ankle. Stay safe. Step into that fold. Inhale, rise to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. So stay with this kneeling or rise to the sky. Fold to the earth. Halfway lift, breath with movement, then fold. Send the right foot or knee back to lunge or kneeling. Look straight ahead. Step into your plank or kneeling. Look forward of those fingertips. Lengthen the back. Let's come into down dog or child's pose. And then inhale forward to kneeling plank for 8-point press. Exhale, chest and chin to the earth. Inhale, scoop through up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog or child's pose. Inhale the right foot forward to lunge or kneeling. Look forward. Exhale into that fold. Inhale, rise up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Reach to the sun. Fold to the earth. Halfway lift and fold. Send the left foot or knee back to lunge or kneeling. Right foot back to plank or kneeling. Come into down dog or child's pose. Float forward into kneeling plank and release into that 8-point press. Scoop the heart through, up dog or cobra. Hinge back, down dog or child's pose. Float your left foot forward to lunge or kneeling and again look forward. Step into fold. Rise to the sun. Hands to heart. Again, follow that breath. Reach to the sun. Fold to the earth. Halfway lift and fold. Send the right foot or knee back to lunge or kneeling. Left foot into plank or kneeling. Rise to down dog or child's pose. Float forward into kneeling plank to release into 8-point press. Scoop through up dog or cobra. Hinge back, down dog or child's pose. Right foot forward to lunge or kneeling. Again, look forward. Step into fold. Rise to the sun. Hands to heart. Rise to the sky. Fold to the earth. Halfway lift, then fold. Left foot or knee back to lunge or kneeling. Right foot back to plank or kneeling. Down dog or child's pose. Forward to kneeling plank, releasing into 8-point press. Scoop up dog or cobra. Hinge back, down dog or child's pose. Left foot floats forward to lunge or kneeling. Remember, lengthen that spine. Step into fold. Rise to the sky. Hands to heart. One more time each side, but take it on your own, matching your own breath. Start with that inhale. We are not here for perfect. We are here for that yoga practice, seeing where the body takes us today. So allow yourself to let go of judgments, to let go of expectations, to let go of competition. You will get that feedback from your body. And listening and adjusting to that feedback is so important. The last thing we want to do in our practice is say, I knew I shouldn't have done that. So it is not about where my body goes. It's about what feels right for you today, in this moment. Let go of yesterday, last week, last month. It is this moment now. When you get to the top of your mat, just go ahead and stand nice and tall, gazing to your fingertips. Take some deep breaths here, inhaling through the nose, opening the mouth, letting it out. 2 more times. Sometimes breathing out the mouth allows us to find a little more ease in our flow. So if at any time you need to take that exhale out the mouth, please do. Let's go ahead and stand tall into Tadasana, mountain pose. We can open the palms, roll the shoulders back and down, but I want you to tip forward towards your toes, roll back to your heels, and sway to the left, sway to the right. Forward to the toes, back to your heels, left and right, and then center yourself. So feel the entire foot, right and left, grounded and rooting you to the earth as the rest of the body lifts to the sky. Take a moment here and set that intention. Let's take our hands to our hips. I want you to notice what your hips are doing. Make sure your feet are open, hip width apart, and your feet stay hip width apart as we float into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Send that left foot back, bend into the right knee. And then open the arms out to the letter T to lift the heart. Pull the ribs in. And as you make those eagle arms, bring the right elbow under the left, hug shoulders or wrap hands. And I want you to keep bending into that right knee and press to the pinky side of your left foot so that foot stays sealed to the mat. And then look up to your fingertips. Notice where your elbows are at. Are they down on your chest? And if so, lift them up in line with your shoulders. And then inhale, sweep the arms to the sky, and exhale into this warrior bow, tip forward. And then inhale, rise up. And let's take 4 more like this. Exhale, bow. Notice what's happening in your back when you lift. Are you arching and causing strain? If you're feeling that, lift your heart to the sun when the arms lift up. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lift. 1 more time. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lift. Let's straighten the leg and tip into pyramid, Parsvottanasana. Our hands come to our thigh, our shin. Maybe you need your blocks. We have vertical, horizontal, or flat, and we use the blocks to bring the floor closer to us. I want you to hug your right hip in and back. As you bend that knee, we make our way into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Maybe the block shifts forward and you rise up with that left arm and leg. Find what works for you. Gazing to the earth, our drishti, eye gaze, gazing down to the floor will give us better balance than if we gaze up to the thumb. If you need somewhere in between, look side. Push through that left heel. Imagine you're putting it on the wall. And as we make our way into Warrior 2, the option of taking the left hand down first, setting up the legs, or going right into the pose is up to you. Now keep opening this right hip. And if you went sassy to do this pose, let's all bring our hands to our hips. Are you sassy? If you're sassy, tuck that hip under the body. Are you twisting? If so, bring your hips back to the long edge of the mat. If you're like, yeah, my hips aren't going to do that, maybe stagger your foot to release the hips or shorten your stance. But wherever you're at, let's reach nice and long. We're going to tap our shoulders and then come under and tap our ribs. But when we do this, this right heel is going to lift and lower. So here we go. Shoulders and your heel is up. Ribs, your heel is down. Shoulders, ribs, shoulders, ribs. Good. Inhale. Exhale. So how do we match breath with movement? However you want to do it, but keep it going for 2 more. reach your arms out long. Let's straighten the leg. We might be hearing that quad sing. So let's stretch it out. Reach into triangle. Nice long reach and slowly tip. The hand can come to the thigh, the shin, or even onto a block, right? What works for you? But take the right ribs and spin them towards the left hand. Let's move into reverse warrior. Bend that knee, rise up and stretch back. Nice big reach. Now, if you need support for your back, feel free to take your hand to your hip and use that as a little more support. And then we windmill down into a low lunge. Heel toe that right foot over so you are on railroad tracks, hip width apart with the feet. Inhale the hands to the heart for twisting prayer. Exhale, left elbow across. Drive into that left hand so you can spin your ribs towards that right thigh. Notice what your right hip is doing. It should be pressing in and back. Release the hands to the earth. Sweep into three-legged dog. Our hips are aiming to the mat. I want you to inhale forward, bring the knee to the nose, round the back, rise back up. Inhale forward, knee to nose. This can be done in table. What does that mean? Put your left knee on the mat. Inhale, knee to nose, rise back up. 2 more times. Inhale, knee to nose, rise back up. Last one, knee to nose, rise up. From here, sweep your foot through for that warrior lunge. So toes past the fingers and bring that knee down. Send the hips forward. Send the hips back. Curl the toes up. So we come into this warrior lunge and half monkey. Warrior lunge, half monkey. Warrior lunge. Now hold back in this half monkey. And if you can, pull your heart to your toes. Let the head and neck relax. The closer the hands are to the body, with or without the blocks, the more ease you'll find. And then rock forward into this warrior lunge. Hips are heavy towards that right heel. Our back toes can be turned under, or they can be released. It is up to you. But let's kick this foot across on an angle and rise up and open into this kneeling warrior two. And either stay here or turn the back toes under or keep it flat and reach for the heel or the arch of the foot in this funky version. And notice what your right knee is doing. We want it to press open. Windmill down inside that right foot. Pick up your left knee and hop it back over to the mat. And from here, step into plank, readjust the hands. Lower to crocodile. Lift up dog. Hinge back. Hold down dog. Pick your right leg up. Come into crescent or high lunge. Then open into warrior two. Tip into triangle and float into goddess. Now to the left side of your mat, open into triangle. Come into warrior two. Heel toe that left foot to the back edge of your mat and pivot around into crescent or high lunge. From here, step to the top of your mat. Inhale nice and deep. Open, let it out. All we did is take a fancy flow to get to the other side of the mat. So standing nice and tall, feet open, hip width apart, hands to those hips. As you make your way into warrior one, we're stepping that right foot back, bending into that left knee. Chest is lifted. Notice, are you arching that back or are you keeping the ribs in to extend the arms out? Eagle arms, left elbow under right. Hug shoulders or wrap hands. Where are the elbows? If they're on your chest, I need you to lift them up. Then look to your fingertips. Bend into that left knee. Release and sweep the arms up to the sky. This warrior bow. Exhale, hinge forward. Pull this left hip in and back. Then take it into a flow. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. What is happening with your left knee? Are you straightening it and bending, keeping it bent? Bow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow. 2 more times. Tummy in tight, support yourself in this flow. This time when you rise up, straighten the leg and make your way into pyramid. Hinge from the hips. We're not rounding from the belly. We're hinging from the hips so our hands can go to our thigh, our shin. Grab those blocks if you need it, if you want to take your hands down. Draw your right hip forward, your left hip back. As we make our way into half moon, bend the knee, take your hands forward to rise up. Then peel that right arm up to the sky, spin the left side of your heart to the sun. So either we're looking down, to the side, or up to that thumb. When you transition into warrior 2, is it the hand down, supporting the leg, lowering, and then rising up? Or do you go right into the pose? And again, hands to hips, check those legs. Some of us will be on a balance beam where we have that heel to arch alignment. Others will stagger to give a little more ease into our hips. Find what you need. Then extend the arms out nice and long. Remember that heel raise with shoulder and rib taps. Here we go. Shoulders and heel raises, ribs, the heel goes down. Shoulders, ribs, shoulders, ribs. We have 3 more sets. Last 2. Last one. Reach the arms out long. Now make your way into triangle as you straighten the leg. Shift your ribs and slowly tip. Hand to thigh, shin. So you'll feel the hips shift to the sky, but push into that big toe mound so we activate the arch of the foot. Rise up into reverse warrior. Big stretch to the back. Our spine is meant to move in all directions. Do we need a little more support today with the hand on the hip? So windmill down into a low lunge, setting up for twisting prayer. So some of us are on this tightrope. Heel toe that left foot over. Knee over ankle. Inhale, hands to heart. Exhale, right elbow to left thigh. Can you push into both heels? Spin those ribs. One more breath here. Release into 3-legged dog. Sweep that left leg to the sun. So in this vinyasa, you can be in table with your right knee on the mat. Otherwise, forward to plank, knee to nose. Round your back. Rise back up. Forward, knee to nose. Think of cat pose. Rise back up. You have 3 more like this, whether it is on the knee or flowing from down dog. Last one. Anjaneyasana, warrior lunge. Sweep the toes past the fingers. Release the knee down. Let the hips drop forward. For some of us, we find our foot back here. Grab it, help move it forward. Bring yourself out of a 90-90. This is 90-90, and then if we shift, our knee goes past our toes. We don't want that to happen. We want our body weight shifting forward, still trying to keep the knee and the ankle close to stacking. Shift back into half monkey, curl the toes up. Ardha Hanumanasana. Shift forward into that warrior lunge. Shift back. And forward, and back, and forward, and then let's hold it back and deepen the stretch. For some of us, it's not an option. We bring our hands closer or we use the blocks. For others, we spider walk our fingers forward. Coming into our warrior lunge, shift forward, and just let your weight hinge so your hips can melt towards the heel. Allowing for this deeper release into those hips. Feel free to rise up for some of us. Maybe we want to go a little deeper. You've got to decide what you want to do. Go ahead and release those hands to the earth and step into plank. From plank, lower to crocodile. Lift up dog, hinge back. Hold down dog. Take a moment here. Reset yourself up into that warrior lunge. But now kick your foot across. Inhale, rise up. I didn't forget. And then slowly tip back. Now windmill your hands inside that foot. turn the toes under, hop it across, and now your feet are separate. Inhale, rise up into crescent or high lunge. Open into warrior two. Tip into triangle. Rise up and come into goddess or sumo. To the right side of your mat, turn the foot so you tip into triangle. Good, rise into warrior two. But to come into crescent, we have to separate our feet. So heel toe that right foot over, pivot around, crescent or high lunge, and then step in to Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale nice and deep. Open, let it out. Float your left knee up. As you come into seated pigeon, first, let's play around with balance. I'm going to move back so I don't kick the wall. So lift up, kick your heel out, find power, lift up nice and tall, and then cross the ankle over the thigh. Seated pigeon. With a little variation. Some of you will stay right here. Some of you are going to be in chair, whatever works for you. Can you get your left elbow to the arch of your left foot? So take a little twist here. Have fun with it. Release and rise up with your left knee. And float into warrior three, press the heel back. Now either keep the hands at the heart or reach the arms forward. Exhale, tuck elbow and knees in. Reach out nice and long. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, reach. And you notice I take a slight bend to my right knee. That's in order so my knee isn't locked out while I'm flowing. Give my knee a little more stability. When I straighten, then pull in and straighten. One more time. Hold warrior three. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release to stand tall. Take a moment, shake those legs out. Right? So stand tall on the left leg. Bring that left knee up. Hands can go to the hips or the heart. Then extend the right heel out. Reach up to the sky. Grow out of your hips and exhale into seated pigeon. Hips back and down. So either you're going to stay here or in chair, or take your right elbow towards your right arch. And just have fun with it. Where does the gaze need to go so you don't fall over? Inhale, rise up, bring your right thigh up. Float into warrior three, tipping back. Now we can take our hands to our left thigh to give that support as the knee comes in and out. We can keep them at the heart or reach forward. And let's tuck in and press out. Tuck in and press. You can tap your toe in and out if that gives you a little more ease of mind and body. Two more. Holding out in warrior three. And then rise up and sit in chair. Then lift your toes off the mat and lower down into toe balance. And for some of us, we get a lot of snap, crackle, pop. And so if you want to just come into seated, sitting on your bottom, go ahead and go there. And then from here, bring your hands to the earth. Walk or hop your feet out to the edges of the mat for Malasana. Now, if you need your block for yogi squat, take your block, send your hips on it. Elbows, though, inside the knees to have press open. Heart lifts to the sky. So be careful of being here, putting all this compression in the upper body and back. So wherever you're at, and for some of you, maybe it's not this low. It's forearms on the thighs or hands up on the thighs. But whatever works for you, hang out here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and after this last one, meet me in Navasana, boat pose. So as you drop your hips, lift your feet, whether it's here, here, or here. And then release. Take a moment to lay all the way back onto the mat. Let's do some opening of the shoulders and chest in bridge pose. So we're going to lay back. Open our feet up a little bit wider than our hips. Hands down to the earth. I invite you to take a little walk of your shoulder blades under the body and then press your hips up to the sky. Some of you are going to stay here. Others, I need you to walk your shoulders deeper under the body and see if you can interlace the fingers. Wherever you are at, lift up onto your tiptoes and lower the heels. Lift to the tiptoes, chin towards the chest, lower the heels. Tiptoes and release. Tiptoes and hold. 5, 4, squeeze the inner thighs. 3, 2, 1. Release the arms. Walk those shoulders out. Release the heels and then the hips. Take a moment here. Bring the knees to the chest and then open them wider than the rib cage. We're going to set up for happy baby. So I want you to float your heels over your knees and either hold your hamstrings, your calves, your ankles, or come and hold those feet. Can you push your tailbone to the floor? Send that hip, the tip of the femur, deeper into that hip socket. Notice where your chin is at. If it's turning to the sky, you probably have a lot of pressure in the back of your head and neck, so bring your chin parallel to your mat. Take 2 more deep breaths here. Then bring the legs in and 3 rolls from your tailbone to your shoulders. Roll up, roll back, roll up, roll back. One more time, roll up, roll back, and this time roll up and grab your blocks. As you grab those blocks, go ahead and extend the legs out. Take your blocks outside your thighs, forward of your hips. So we're working this elephant trunk pose. And so what we want to do is we want to have our hands braced on the blocks or on the floor, and we're going to do hip lifts. Now I do want you to round, buckling from your belly, so we're not hinging from the hips. We're rounding and pulling our belly up and in, like you're tucking it underneath your ribs. And here we go. Lift up and come down. Lift up, come down. 2 more times. Lift and lower, lift and lower. If you find that's a lot on your wrist, you're more than welcome to make fists for wrists, but you got to tuck your thumbs in so they're not pushing into the block. We want them wrapped, and you push like a knuckle press. All right, from here, pick up your leg, holding it at the arch and behind the knee, and a little rock and roll here. We're going to work our stretch today. So if you want, you can move that block out of the way. And then from here, hold the stretch back. Notice I didn't ask you to open your hip and turn to the long end of your mat. You're still facing. And have your hips aim to the narrow edge of your mat. Now you can have both hands hold that left foot, but lift your chest up. I want you to activate your core while you're here and sit up tall. And then while you're here, if you can, release your right hand to the block. Still sitting tall, can you hold your right leg up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down, release everything, lean back and shake it out. If you're like, yeah, my leg would not stay up for a count of 5, it's okay. Building that quad strength, because we got to be able to hold that leg up. So go ahead and bring the left block back, and your right block can move out of the way. Bend your knee. Grab a hold of the arch, and then behind the knee, and a little rock and roll here. Whatever feels best for you. And then some of you are going to stay right here just rocking and rolling. And notice there is a little round in the belly for this one. And then pull the knee back and see where it goes and maybe hold both hands to the foot. Now lift up tall. Pull your shoulders down and away from your ears. Engage that core. So we want the powerhouse engaged. If you're clenching your teeth, these muscles need to relax. So these muscles, send this energy down here instead. Now, either stay here or take your hand to the block and hold your left leg up. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down, release everything, and go ahead and lean back. And just let the legs wiggle. So let's bring the soles of the feet together into Baddha Konasana, but then slide your legs out away, so more of a diamond. So I want you to bring your hands inside. Now some of you are going to have to sit here, just bracing your fingertips behind the back. Others, your arms are going to come in, and you're going to slide your elbows underneath your calves. You can hold the top of your feet or slide your fingers underneath your feet, but then round the back and bow forward. 2 more breaths here. After that last exhale, slowly bring yourself up, and I want you to tuck your right foot underneath your left. So as we make our way into seated Z, shift into your right hip, take the left hip behind. You're going to tip back into your hand, and you may have to adjust where your right knee goes. I want you to float your hips to the sky. So press up and tip back. Two more breaths. Slowly, when you bring those hips down, I want you to tip forward. Some of you are going to stay right here. Others are going to make your way into pigeon, Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. So you can extend that leg back, but when you do, you got to pull your hips to the center of the mat, with or without a block, to fill the space underneath your sit bone. And then feel free to drop forward into pigeon bow. While you're here, release the forehead all the way to the mat if you can, or use the block to support your forehead. But wherever you're at, make sure you're still in the center of your mat with your hips, and draw your right hip back, left hip forward. Slowly rise up, sit to the side, bring that left leg around. Slide your right heel outside your thigh. For some of us, we are going to keep our foot on the shin. We can take our foot to the top of the knee, or we're going to go across our thigh. So you'll feel this in those hips. And if it's too much and you're chanting out, 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 move that foot to where it's comfortable. But we're going to twist. If you're protecting the back, take your hand to your thigh and just turn the shoulders. Otherwise, the rest of us, shift your ribs to create space first. Shift them to the left. Then bring that right arm up and hook it over. As you bring the left arm back, you can turn and look to the left shoulder. Smile, knowing that time flies when you're having fun. Our flow is almost over. Gently come back to center. Uncross the leg. And what I want you to do here is go ahead and bend that left knee. Take the right leg behind into seated Z. And from here, lean back into the hand and lift the hips. Push your right hip and keep your left shoulder high so you can rest your head on it if it's there for you. One more deep breath here. Slowly release to tip forward. So we come onto our hands. Some of you are going to stay here and fold forward. Others, you're going to go into your pigeon pose. Extend the right leg back. Shift your hips to the center of the mat. Either stay up and fill that space with the block if you need it, or tip forward. Draw your left hip back, right hip forward. Feel your belly still pulling into the spine. Just because we come into a stretch doesn't mean we go and release everything. We still keep power in the body, but we allow the stretch to happen in the muscles that we're working. Then slowly walk the hands into the body. Sit to the side, bring that right leg around. You're going to slide your left leg through. Make sure you're not going to sit on that left heel. And again, our foot can go to the shin, the knee, or across the thigh. If you're tipping out the window, meaning you're leaning into that left hip, glue that right sit bone back down onto the floor. And again, if you're protecting a back or pregnant, hand to thigh, just turn the shoulders. The rest of us, shift the ribs to the right. Pull up to lengthen the spine and hook the elbow across, and turn and look over your shoulder. One more breath here. And come back to center. Uncross the legs. This time for your Baddha Konasana, bring the feet together. And what I want you to do is, some of you, your legs are going to have to be farther away, but we're all going to take the hands behind the back, and I want you to lift up and shift forward. Push your knees down and back, and lift your heart up. And you can lean back into your hands if you'd like, but just opening up through the hips, and then slowly release this pressure by lifting up and back, and bring your knees to the sky. We come into the final part of our class, Shavasana. So when you're ready, just slowly release yourself down. Feel free to let the legs go out long. Some of you may want to lay on your side or your stomach, but just relax here. Soften. Feel the heaviness of the body drop into the mat. Return to the sensation of the breath moving through the nose as each part of our body slowly releases and melts into the earth. You can start to bring movement into the fingers and toes, and you can stay here and relax as long as you'd like. But when you're ready, extend the arms over the head, stretch long through fingers and toes, and then slowly bring the legs into the body for this nice big hug. And then whether you roll to the side or you rock yourself up, let's come back into Sukhasana, that easy seated. And if you'd like, bring the hands to the heart. Return to that breath and ease. Take a nice big inhale. You can all smile and finish with Namaste. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the mat again. Thanks for joining me.